Welcome to Hiking in Juneau, where I take you along with me as I explore the beautiful trails in Juneau, Alaska. The last time I was out here, the rain forced me to turn around and I wasn't able to complete the trail. So today I'm back to see if the 9.5 mile hike is actually worth the view. Sometimes unfinished hikes stick with you, like a fish that got away. So today I'm back to see if I can catch a glimpse of the Herbert Glacier. Today we're at the Herbert Glacier Trail. It's total 9.5 miles. One way it's about 4.8 miles one way. Hopefully today we'll make it to the end and you're coming with me. You're coming along on the Herbert Glacier Trail. Let's go. This is a really long hike and there are no restrooms. No facilities of any kind, no shops nearby. So make sure you bring everything that you'll need with you, like toilet paper, snacks, water, all that stuff. Some of you may be wondering about the hat. So I wasn't originally looking for this hat. I was gonna get like a cowboy hat or something because I remember reading somewhere that if you're walking in bear country, especially if you're walking alone, always carry a stick and always wear a big hat. And they were saying like a wizard hat or a cowboy hat, something with a big brim. And the idea is if you come upon a bear and the bear doesn't scare away easy, then you put your hat on the stick and you lift the stick up as high as you can. And then the bear will think that you suddenly grew. Well, that's the idea anyway. For this outfitters originally to get a cowboy hat. But I tried on a few cowboy hats and it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like me. So I looked around and I saw this. I was like, holy cow. It's like a Raiden style hat, like what in the world? So and they only had this in this one left in this color. But this black one, I tried it on and I was like, holy cow. I belong in a rice field. Put me in a rice field right now with my ancestors. Let me get back to my roots. Holy cow. I was just like, I can imagine my great-grandfather wearing something like it's almost like it called to me. And look, it's nicely ventilated. It's like got a nice mesh ventilation right there and it fits snug. Makes me feel like I don't know, like I'm a Mortal Kombat character or something. And then this stick, I actually made this stick back in Georgia. Isn't that cool? It's from a chestnut tree that was in our backyard. This huge tree that grew chestnuts. Anyways, a huge branch fell. We had lots of thunderstorms and it was like nice and twisty. And so I was like, oh man, that would make a really nice walking stick. So I left these branch like notches so I can like pick stuff and grab stuff. And I carved this spiral all the way down. So it looks like a wizard stick or something. So anyways, that's my walking stick all the way from Georgia. I made it back in Georgia to go hike with. And now I'm hiking with it here in Alaska. Oh, but just for a little safety tip, I did bring bear spray. I have bear spray on me, so just so you know. There we go. I got my bear spray on me right there. So just a little safety tip. I have my big hat. I got my walking stick, but just in case, I always carry bear spray. After walking for about 10 minutes or so, I came across this old abandoned car. And I looked it up. I tried to find out the story behind this car. How did it get here? And no one has a clue. I looked up on Facebook groups, Reddit posts. I looked all over the internet. And there are theories, but no one actually has solid proof. Some people say that this could have been the last delivery of some moonshine gone wrong. Some people think that it could have been stolen and taken for a joyride. And once it got stuck, they left it there. There's all kinds of theories, but no one really knows how it got here. And look how well preserved it is. I mean, it is rusted and all deteriorated, but it's like you can almost still see the gears. The path is actually really nice and smooth to walk. You can even ride a bike on this path. After walking for about 15 minutes, I noticed this nice photo point, so I went to go get a closer look. about an hour into the walk, and the scenery is about the same. I mean, it is beautiful, right? It's so beautiful. It's like magical. The moss on the trees, they look so magical, really. The way they cover up the trees in nice little balls like that. But it's basically the same for about the first hour. Nothing's really changed much. I mean, it is really cool. You know, look at that. Like fallen trees, the root system coming up. And what's really cool is that none of this was here about 100 years ago. This is all new. Look how tall these trees are. They're 100 years old, roughly about 100 years old, because this was all covered in glacier ice 100 years ago. So this is all new forest that we're walking through. And this is also Tlingit land. I think it's called Akwaan. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Akwaan people, the Tlingit people. And they used to live on this land. And the interesting thing is about the 1800s, the late 1800s to early 1900s, this used to be mining land. Like they used to mine here for gold. So this was like gold mines just about 100 years ago. I've been walking a little over an hour and still it's just the same forest. But hopefully soon we'll be coming into the rocky moraine part, and then we'll know we're closer to the glacier. About an hour and a half in, so we've hiked about an hour and a half, and you come across this beautiful lake and this nice bench here to sit on. So I sat, I got a water break, let my hair down, had some trail mix, and so now I feel refreshed, feel ready to continue the walk. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness, look at the mountain in the background. So this is about an hour and a half into the walk. This is one of those times where you just have to take a picture. Wow, what a nice break. That was awesome. You really can't beat a spot like that. Holy cow, just scenic, calm, serene, and a nice place to sit too and just lean back and enjoy the view, eat some snacks, drink some water. Look at this. All these little tiny pools all around. Isn't that beautiful? I'm not sure if you can see that in the background, but this is beautiful. Basically still the same scenery. About an hour and a half, you get that nice little lake there to sit at and rest. But once you get past that, it's still pretty much the same. I mean, look at that. So this is definitely a baby. See that? Very new growth. But all of these trees here, the really tall ones, are at least 100 years old. Wow, check this out, guys. Look at that fallen tree in the root system. It's because they grew over these rocks. These big giant trees just toppled over. Check this out. Look at how big that tree trunk is. I mean, that root system is taller than I am. And sure enough, look at those rocks. Isn't that amazing? So we're getting closer to the moraine fields. You can tell because all of these trees that have been falling over along the trail because they were rooted on rocks. See that? Oh my goodness, look at this one. Look at how big that is compared to me. But sure enough, underneath the roots, bunch of rocks. So it's pretty interesting. This forest, this rainforest is constantly changing because not only are the trees that have grown on top of the rocks falling over, but once the trees fall over, more trees grow on top of that fallen tree and the moss grows over it. It's just amazing, incredible. This rainforest really does look magical, doesn't it? We're getting close. We've been hiking for about 2 hours. So hopefully, you know, and the thing is, probably would have been to the glacier by now had I not stopped to film things, but it's definitely worth it because it makes it fun for me too, sharing all the cool things that I find along the way. So about 2.5 hours. About 2.5 hours in, there's another little spot here, right behind me. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That view. But that's the bench right there that you can just sit and relax and take a break. But I already took a break like 20 minutes ago, and it's already been 2.5 hours, and I don't see any sign of a glacier or anything. So I'm gonna start hauling a little bit. I'm gonna start picking up the pace a little bit and stop filming so much because yeah, I can't be here all day. I gotta get some sleep. I gotta work tonight. Man, how long is this trail for real? All right, a little bit over 2.5 hours of walking, and we're finally at the moraine fields. A little bit windy here because the glacial ice and it's pushing that cool air down through the valley, so it's a little bit more windy here. But isn't this amazing? Made it to this clearing here where it's like moraine fields and the glacier, Herbert River. Anyways, so the Herbert Glacier is actually named after the Herbert River. And the Herbert River was named by a U.S. naval commander. I'll put it at the screen here. But yeah, so Herbert Glacier back there is named after Herbert River. So we're almost there. Now that we're here at the moraine fields, we're getting close. Nice to have a little change of scenery, you know? It was just forest to forest the whole time for like 2.5 hours straight. So it is so nice to get a little change of scenery. Oh my goodness. So I'm walking along this rocky trail here along the river. So the river is right here. And then right behind me are these like giant rocks. And as soon as you come here, look at that. You get a first glimpse of the glacier. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Holy cow. So I'm getting my first view of the glacier right here as I'm coming up this trail where it's next right along the Herbert River and these giant rocks right here. It's been almost 3 hours now, almost 3 hours of walking, and I finally got my first view of the glacier. We're almost there. Wow, look at that. That's the Herbert Glacier. You can see a lot of it has already broken off and melted away. That's what's left of it. So I am so glad I came on this hike. What if it's gone by next year? Look at that. You can see it behind me. Most of it has already deteriorated, you know, just broken off and melted away. That's all that's left. Wow, so I'm so glad I came on this hike when I did. Because, I mean, who knows, next year, we might not even have a glimpse of that. That might not even be there. So, holy cow. I'm going to see if I can get closer now. But, yeah, this is, look at this view. Isn't that just incredible? Holy cow, totally worth the 3-hour hike. Okay, we are 3 hours in, and I feel like I'm lost. There's like no real trail. I'm just following these orange markers that they have tied to the trees here. and they have one tied every so often. So I'm just following this. I'm not even sure if I'm on the right trail or not. And I have to be honest, I'm a little scared. I'm not sure about this. I'm like, should I turn around? Shoot, look at this. I gotta climb up this. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep going or not. I mean, this trail is not really maintained. There's a path that comes back into the forest. So I took that path and it looks like it's gonna lead me closer to the glacier, but now I just don't know. Oh man, see, I'm just like, I'm in the middle of the forest. There's another marker right there. Oh, there's another one there. Okay, so I just keep following this, I guess. I guess I'll give it another 30 minutes or so. Just keep following these markers and see what happens. Hopefully I don't get lost. Shoot. I'm gonna call it because if you look behind me, that is just straight up climbing rocks. Here, let me see if you can see it in this. Look at that. All the way up. And you can see markers along the way, marking that trail. But it is just a steep climb on these big rocks, all the way up. So yeah, I was not prepared for that. I'm turning back around. Look at that, holy cow. Just climbing up those big rocks all the way up. And this trail is not even marked really well. I'm going back down. So I turned back around and I'm so glad I did. And I came out through there. Holy cow, I hope I can find my way back. I came out through there. I turned around and I found another path and I came out through there. And so now I'm walking along this moraine field. And I'm gonna see if I can get closer to the glacier there. So now we're walking along the moraine field here. And I'm gonna see if I can get a closer look at the glacier before I go back home. So I walked as far as I can walk. Right there it ends. So you can't walk any further than that point. And as you can see behind me, you can't really see the glacier from here. So I'm gonna walk back over there a little bit and see if I can get one last shot of the glacier. And then I'm gonna call it quits and go back home. Total, it took about 3.5 hours. To be honest, it took about 3.5 hours to get here. Isn't that so cool? So those giant boulders were left here from the ice that's been receding for hundreds of years. Success! We made it to the glacier. There it is, right in the background there. This glacier used to be much bigger, but because it's just been breaking off and melting over the years, this is all that's left of it. So maybe in a year or two, that will be gone as well. We might just lose that view altogether, and it might just be like part of that ice field that's behind it. But that's all that's left of the glacier. If I had someone with me, I probably would finish that trail where it got really steep and those big rocks you had to climb up. It looks like you have to scramble a little bit, so that last portion. And I'm guessing that it's gonna take you up to that part of the glacier right there, so you can see it. But it's just too much. I wasn't prepared for all that. I already hiked 3.5 hours. I'm all alone, no one's with me. One thing I forgot to mention is bug spray. I sprayed bug spray on me, but even though I sprayed bug spray on me, they're still flying everywhere. They're landing on my hand, bugs everywhere. Oh, but look at this. Isn't that just incredible? Holy cow. Wow, the walk back is just as beautiful as the walk in. Holy cow. This is amazing. And I'm loving this hat. My Raiden hat, holy cow. I haven't had to use it yet for a bear, but if a bear does pop up, if a bear does cross my path, I'm ready. I got my stick, I got my hat. I'm gonna give it a try right before I die. I started this walk around 7:30 a.m. and it is now 11:30 a.m. So not bad. I'm already on my way back to my truck, and it's been 4 hours now. Totally worth it. I'm so glad I made it out here. I'm so glad I did this trail. And I'm so glad you guys are with me, because without you guys watching, coming along with me, I think this would just be kind of lonely and at times a little scary. Being alone can be intimidating sometimes, because you could run into wildlife, you know, a bear could pop up, you know, you could slip and fall, you could hurt yourself, you know, and especially a 3-hour or 3+ hour walk, you know, just sometimes it's just like, what if I get bored? I hope that by me making these videos and having you come along with me, hopefully it makes the idea of hiking alone more approachable, more doable in your, you know, like you see me doing it, I'm really all alone. Nobody out here with me. And it's relatively safe. I mean, as long as you stay aware of your surroundings, right? Make sure you watch where you're stepping. Yeah, and bring bear spray just in case. You know, I always have bear spray ready. Yeah, and as long as you do that, hiking is pretty safe. Even if you're gonna hike alone, I mean, pick an easy trail like this. It's pretty easy. Just at the very end there, where it's like that unmarked trail, and it's only marked by those orange ribbons tied to the trees. Yeah, that part of the trail gets really sketchy and really tough to climb. So yeah, unless you're gonna do that part, the rest of the trail is really easy. Get out there and hike, right? Even if you don't have anyone to hike with, even if you might feel a little scared about being alone in the woods, get out there and try it. You never know what you might find. I'm learning how to become my own best friend these days, because I moved up here to Juneau not knowing anybody except my parents, and you know, being such a small town, it's hard to make friends, you know, and it's hard to find people to hang out with, especially as, you know, our age. I'm 44 years old. As adults, we have responsibilities, we have jobs, we have all these other things in our lives to take care of. It's hard to just hang out with someone, you know, especially as an adult, especially in a new town. Instead of looking at this situation like, oh man, I'm stuck in Juneau with no friends, I'm all alone. No, I told myself, this is a great opportunity for me to learn to be a friend to myself, right? Take myself out. I went to go watch, what was that movie that I watched last?
5 days later.
Deadpool and Wolverine. Shoot. But yeah, I went to go watch Deadpool and Wolverine by myself because I had no one to go watch it with, and I wanted to go watch it. And at first I felt so embarrassed. Like, I felt so weird about it. I was like, oh, but then I was thinking to myself, do I really want to watch it? And I was like, yeah, I do. And I want to watch it on the big screen, you know? Look at this. So I was like, what am I waiting for? You know, someone to go hold my hand, go with me, right? I was like, let me do the things that I enjoy because I enjoy them. Let me do things for me, simply for the pleasure of it, you know? There's a really good quote. I forget who said it, but it goes like this. If I want to be free, then I've got to be me. Not the me that others want me to be, not the me that my family expects me to be, but if I want to be free, I've got to be me. So then I better get to know who me really is. I really like that last part. If I want to be free, then I've got to be me. So I better figure out who me really is. And how many of us really take the time? It's important, I think, to take time to sit and be with our thoughts and think to ourselves, who am I really? All alone, who am I? What do I actually like to do? I think that a lot of times we look around to others and we compare ourselves, thinking, well, if I could just do what that person's doing. A lot of people think to themselves, one day I'm going to be somebody. You already are somebody. You're you, right? And Maxwell Maltz, he has a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. And in that book, he says, you are neither superior nor inferior to anybody. You're simply you. If you just behave in a way that just comes naturally, he's saying that that's all you need to do, because you are uniquely you. Nobody else can be like you, and you cannot be like anybody else, right? He say be yourself because everyone's taken, everyone else is taken. Nobody is better or worse than anybody else. You're just you and I'm just me. I decided to stop here for a quick water break. Such a beautiful spot. We're almost back at the parking lot. I'd say probably maybe another hour and a half, and we should be there. It's about 12 o'clock right now. It's noon. This is my view. Isn't this beautiful? Just a crystal clear lake. Just beautiful. That is a Bob Ross painting right there. Holy cow. Just beautiful. I bet Bob Ross never said holy cow. I really hope these videos are as helpful to you as they are to me, because these videos are helping me so much. You know, it's giving me a reason to smile again, really, you know. It's giving me a reason to come out here and enjoy these trails, which I probably wouldn't if I wasn't making these videos. So I'm gonna promise that I'm gonna keep showing up. I'm gonna keep making these videos one trail at a time. And I hope that we're helping each other one step at a time, one hike at a time. I think one thing the forest has to teach us, like these trees that have toppled over. Look at all those trees that have just fallen. And the forest is messy, right? I mean, there's no order to it, you know? It's just chaos, really, if you think about it, right? There's no even lines. There's no, like, it's not like a orchard or something, you know? This is just all chaos. It's just a mess, you know? And I think that that's something that nature teaches us, is that life is messy. Look at this, you know, and trees falling over. You know, sometimes it seems like, you know, our life is falling apart, right? Our life can get so messy sometimes. And sometimes we can feel ashamed of it. You know, we can feel like, oh man, my life's a mess. You know, I'm embarrassed. But what if, just like the forest, it's the chaos and the mess of life that makes it so beautiful, right? And worthwhile. Because if it was all arranged nicely in nice, neat little lines, I mean, yeah, that would be interesting, but it wouldn't be beautiful, right? How it's all just kind of thrown together and it's all just a big mess. That's what makes it so beautiful, right? And I feel like that could be a metaphor to life. Just because our lives get messy, you know, doesn't mean that it's ugly or it's not worth living. You know, life is messy. Look at the forest. But that's also what makes life so beautiful. I'm almost back to my truck. I'd say maybe like 45 more minutes. And I should be back to my truck. We're almost there. Man, I am so happy I came and did this trail and completed it, because now I can move on. There was a few other trails that I walked. One of them was the Treadwell Mining Trail, the historic mining trail in Douglas. The Treadwell mines that used to be there. It used to be a mining town, and it's such a cool interpretive trail. It has all these like cool old buildings from when it was a mining town. It has all this information about it. And I wanted to film it so bad, but I was like, no, I promised I was gonna do the Herbert Glacier Trail next. And, you know, to my 20 subscribers out there, I really appreciate you guys. And I didn't want to come across as, you know, a liar, you know, but it's just that this trail is such a long trail. I mean, so much walking, and a lot of it is just this. And it's beautiful. It is beautiful. But how many different ways can you capture it before it starts getting redundant, you know, repetitive? So I just was kind of avoiding coming back here, but I'm so glad I did. I got it over with. Now I can move on to more trails. Thank you guys. To my 20 subscribers, thank you so much. Like, without you guys to motivate me, I don't know if I would come out here and do these things. Wow, look at this. Let's get another view of Herbert River on our way out. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Just beautiful. There's almost something like meditative about walking and breathing through the forest. It's almost meditative, really. And I think that's why it has such a calming effect on your nervous system. Walking and breathing, it just helps calm your nervous system down and just centers you. I think I needed this more than I realized, really. So thank you guys so much. I'm like, I have 20 subscribers waiting on me. I need to get out there and make more videos for them, you know? But yeah, thank you so much for the motivation to get out here, walk these trails, make these videos. I really hope you enjoy it. But really, I'm enjoying it so much. This is so much fun, really. And I can't wait to start editing this and playing around with the edits. Hopefully it'll be something that you enjoy watching. And thank you so much for joining me on my new journey, hiking in Juneau. If you're ever in Juneau, this is a beautiful trail to walk, especially if you want to avoid the crowds, because this is so far away from the city and it's just so far north. And the trail is actually such a long trail. Most people aren't going to come. So if you ever are visiting Juneau and you have a few days, this is definitely a trail to walk, the Herbert Glacier Trail. But honestly, most people I think probably will never make it out here because even if you are visiting, it is so far north of Juneau and the trail is such a long trail to walk. I think most people aren't really going to make it out here to this trail. So hopefully it'll feel like you were on this trail with me today and you can enjoy this beautiful Herbert Glacier Trail. We got to see the glacier. We got to see some beautiful scenes along the way. So hopefully it'll feel like you were on this trail with me today. And that way, even if you never get to come and visit Herbert Glacier, you'll see what it's like and it'll feel like you were there with me. So we're back at this old abandoned car. So I know I'm close to the truck. I'm gonna be at the truck in no time. But I just wanted to point out, look at all these bullet holes. Can you see that? Oh, it's just littered with bullet holes. Hold on, let me turn. Look at this. Just bullet holes everywhere. Now, this could have been, you know, just people shooting at this car after the fact. But a part of me is like wondering, did something happen here? Did they get attacked and shot up? You know, whoever the driver of this vehicle was? Who knows? Holy cow. But that is interesting. Just an old car, probably sitting here for like 100 years, right along the trail. Huh. But now that we're back at this old abandoned, it's pretty much at the beginning of the trail. So now that I see that car there, I know I'm really close to the parking lot. Thanks for walking with me today. It feels so good to complete this trail, especially after coming on that rainy day and having to turn back because I was soaked. It just feels so good to finally complete this trail, and now I can move on to the next. This trail taught me something today. For a long stretch, the scenery doesn't change much. It's just trees and more trees. It can feel like it's leading nowhere. And that's a lot like life, isn't it? Day to day, it seems the same. Nothing really seems to change much. In your efforts, it feels like it's leading nowhere. But if you just keep going, step after step, even when it feels like those steps don't matter, the landscape finally opens up. The glacier appears, and everything changes. Like Steve Jobs once said, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. So have faith in yourself, in your story, and keep going. And until next time, happy hiking.